As you may well have seen already in the past month, we've been helping Australians who have been issued with outrageous and illegal pandemic fines. We've told their stories and we've hired lawyers for them through crowdfunding. But there are over 25,000 people who have been fined in Victoria alone. We can't possibly take on 25,000 cases, or can we? What if we crowdfunded a world-class barrister famous for fighting top constitutional cases and challenged some of the most egregious lockdown laws at the Victoria Supreme Court? What if we were able to knock out an entire law, or at least, for starters, the part of the law that bans protests? Banning protests is the kind of thing you see in China, not Australia. Surely banning political communication is unconstitutional. It has nothing to do with public health. Well, we're about to find out, because that's exactly what we're doing. Today we filed a blockbuster lawsuit urgently challenging Dan Andrews' China-style censorship enforcement. And we've hired one of the best constitutional lawyers in Victoria to do it. Kathleen Foley, who has taken on many high-profile constitutional cases before. You can read the entire lawsuit yourself at savevictoria.com.au, and I really recommend you do. The lawsuit is being put before the courts urgently because there are major protests planned for the 23rd of October. We need everyone to know, the police, the protesters, and the media, is it still legal in Australia to peacefully and lawfully protest? Make no mistake, this case will have national ramifications. And once and for all, the courts will draw a line in the sand regarding our rights as Australians to free speech and protest. There's a lot at stake here. Our case today filed in the Supreme Court has two plaintiffs, Tony Pecora and Kerry Cottrell, who were given massive fines for merely expressing their disagreement to Dan Andrews' lockdown. Kerry was out for a walk all by herself, but because she was carrying this sign, police swarmed her and gave her a massive ticket. What has that got to do with public health? The charges against Tony couldn't be more political. He was actually arrested and charged in early September for inciting a protest against the lockdown. To this day, Tony's bail conditions ban him from using social media. Again, what's that got to do with the virus? Do you see what I mean? The same thing happened to Zoe Buller, the pregnant mum, I'm sure you remember, in Ballarat, who had the police burst into her home and handcuff her simply for making a Facebook post. That's not Australian. And we need the Supreme Court to remind a lot of people of that. Both Tony and Kerry have entirely different stories that we'll share in depth later this week. The important thing right now is that they prove the same thing. The state is illegally trampling on our rights. And by backing their cases, we have the standing to challenge the entire censorship provision of the law for everyone. As I said, this case is a game changer. See for yourself. I encourage you to read the entire lawsuit at savevictoria.com.au right now. Tony and Kerry are ready to fight, and so am I, and so are their top lawyers. But we need one more thing. We need you. We need your help to crowdfund this project at savevictoria.com.au, because to get this off the ground costs approximately $60,000. It's the perfect test case with the top legal team, including the outstanding criminal lawyer Madeline Smith and the extremely impressive constitutional barrister Kathleen Foley. All we need is your help to crowdfund this fight for our freedom. Every cent counts, so if you can invest $5, $50, $500, $5,000, your donation will not only pave the way to freeing Victoria, but in fact the entire country. I'm not exaggerating, am I, Madeline? This is a huge deal, isn't it?
This is a case that has potential implications for all Australians, regardless of where they fall on the political spectrum. You don't have to agree with Kerry or Tony to understand the importance of the argument that they're putting before the court.
So, in layman's terms, we're not all lawyers like you. What is this case actually about?
So the plaintiffs, Kerry and Tony, are seeking a declaration from the court that the stay-at-home directions that currently apply throughout Melbourne are unlawful to the extent that they place a blanket ban on leaving your home to engage in political communication.
So what would the practical implications of the outcome be here?
Well, at the moment, Victoria Police take the view that leaving your home for one of the 4 permitted activities is nonetheless an offence if you're also intending to express your political opinion whilst doing so. So the practical implication is that of a declaration is that people like Kerry and Tony, who want to express in public their political opinion within the bounds of the law, can do so without the threat and fear of police action.
Okay, so both Kerry and Tony are Melburnians. So what would this have any implication for non-Victorians, for people around the country?
Well, the case is, the argument is founded on the freedom of political communication, which is implied in the Australian Constitution, and that's a document that exists for the protection of all Australians.
So I'm someone this sounds really exciting, and I'm excited for a good fight, but are you really confident in this case?
Well, we think it's a strong case, and we think that the Constitution's on Kerry and Tony's side.
Now, is this going to take forever? What are you expecting this? How long are you expecting this to play out?
Well, this is a case that has some fairly serious, fairly wide-reaching consequences, and we think that there is an element of urgency to it, and we're asking the court to acknowledge that and grant an expedited hearing.
Now, I took a look at the barrister, Kathleen Foley, that we've got on this case. Now, she looks really impressive. Is she really as good as she looks?
Kathleen's exceptional. She's incredibly astute when it comes to this area of law. It's a specialised area of law. She's the right person to lead this fight, and we're incredibly lucky to have her.
Thank you so much, Madeline. Thank you for taking the time to explain it to us here. We look forward to winning this critical case for the nation with your help, hopefully. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So if you're able and you're willing to pitch into what will inevitably be a very expensive battle, please go to savevictoria.com.au now. Like I said, every cent helps. And make sure to share the campaign, because together we can win back our freedoms. We have the perfect plaintiffs and legal team who will fight for all of our sake. We just need some of your financial support, because we're up against a state that has unlimited funds and will stop at nothing to illegally hold on to our freedoms for as long as they possibly can. So we need you now at savevictoria.com.au. Donate and share and watch this space. If you love this idea to save Victoria, and in fact our freedoms nationwide as much as I do, please make sure to hit the like button below and share this video far and wide to let the world know. And finally, make sure to subscribe to Rebel News on YouTube now so you don't miss a thing.